So here's the thing. There's a trend in real estate today to go out and purchase a home on your own without any help, without a realtor, and without any kind of relationships with a professional. In my opinion, that's a horrible mistake to make. And let me explain why. Would you go out and buy a car from someone who is not a professional? Like, for instance, a for sale by owner. Would you trust going to someone's house, getting the right information about the car, getting a history on the car, trusting the things they're telling you about the interior and exterior? Or would you rather go somewhere where you can find out all the information about the car and trust the person who you are getting that car from? Would you take your kid to counseling? Let's say they had to have some counseling. Would you take your kid to a counselor who didn't have any degrees, maybe just set up shop next to a Walmart or something and had a little building and put up a sign that said counselor on it? Would you take your child to that person if they weren't a professional and you had no sort of relationship with them? Purchasing a home is kind of the same thing. A real estate professional is out there for the purpose of giving you the right kind of advice, giving you knowledge and education that you wouldn't have had you not had them representing you. And the cool thing is, as a buyer, you don't even pay a real estate person anyway to have them represent you. The seller actually pays them. So really having representation is free to you. In today's real estate market, actually now more so than ever, there is a huge trend to just shop on the internet and think that you're going to get the correct information based off of the things that you get on the internet. Because, I mean, we all know that everything on the internet is true, right? So here's some information to think about. Trulia, Zillow, Homes.com, and even Realtor.com, which is probably the most prominent website that information is syndicated out to from the multiple listing service feeds that are out there. Most of the time, the information that, well, there's two things to think about. Most of the time, the information that you're getting from Homes.com and Trulia and Zillow and things like that, most of the time it's wrong. As good as IDX feeds can be, and they're good, a lot of the times that information is syndicated erroneously. So you may be looking at the wrong square footage based off of a wrong appraisal. You could even be looking at wrong bedrooms and so forth. And so you're collecting information to go see homes that actually aren't even the right criteria that you wanted to search for and you want to go see, so you end up wasting time. Another thing is, and this is probably the biggest one to me if I were a buyer and I was going to think about going to buy a home, the bigger thing is, especially right now, I've been in real estate for 14 years, and besides in 2005, 2006, this is probably the hottest market I've ever seen. Homes right now are selling in 1, 2, 3 days, put on, even if they're priced higher than they should be. I mean, homes are going really fast. So let's say that a realtor puts a home on the multiple listing service. It takes typically 24 to 48 hours to syndicate out to, say, Trulia, Zillow, or Realtor.com or something like that. If that house sells in those 2 to 3 days and it's already under contract, you jump onto a website, find that information, and then want to go see that home, there's a good chance that you're actually going to be going to see a home that's already sold. And it would be a horrible thing, especially if you're a man and you have your girlfriend or your wife, and man, she looked on the internet and saw pictures and saw this criteria in the neighborhood and it's near this shopping, and she gets her hopes set up, and you guys go out there to see this home and it's under contract. There's nothing like that letdown. That can be hard on you because a home buying purchase is one of the biggest things. So that's another thing to factor in. So going back to my original point, a real estate agent, they're going to have the most current information. It's in their vested interest to represent you as well as they can because, one, they're going to make a commission from the seller off of representing you, and two, If they do a good job, you're going to refer them to your friends and family, which means they're going to make more business off of doing a good job by you. So, I mean, that representation and that relationship, those are two things that I always say in the home buying industry is representation and relationship. And the other thing is a lender. If you're going to purchase a house and get a loan, which 99% of the time that's how it happens, cash deals are kind of rare these days. It's the same thing with a lender. You want to make sure that you are working with a lender who you have a relationship with and who is going to represent you. There's a jillion lenders out there, our mortgage industry, mortgage companies that will promise you the sun and the moon and low ratings, and we'll lock this in and we'll buy down points and we can do these different things. And they're going to promise you all of these things. And what will happen a lot of times with these smaller companies or people that don't have a really strong track record, and I don't know if I should name those people, but there's a few out there that don't have good track records. What will happen is you'll get to the day of closing is delayed. You don't get the rate that you thought you were going to get because you didn't turn in the necessary information that you needed in order to lock that rate. Then what can happen is if you stretch that closing too long because you didn't have good representation and good relationship with that lender, you can actually lose the home. The seller can say, nope, you're not performing according to the contract. Closing date comes. Seller doesn't want to extend. They want to put it back on the market, get a good buyer. You've lost that home. And there you go again with that. You had your expectations up now because you found the home you wanted to buy. So that relationship and that representation are huge. And if you work with a good agent, they are already going to have a good relationship with a lender, with what they would call a preferred vendor. So you've killed two birds with one stone by having someone represent you in the purchase of this home, because the agent is going to want to do a good job by you. They make their commission and you're going to refer them business. The relationship that they have with a lender already is going to save you time and energy into trying to find someone else. And that vendor, that lender, is going to want to do a great job by you because that real estate agent is going to refer business to them. So really, the best way to buy a home is not off the internet. It's great to look and it's great to have some ideas and you can see what's out there. But the best thing to do is to find a realtor who's going to represent you and build that relationship with you. And in the same vein, help you have someone who you can have a relationship and representation by on the loan side too. So that's my 2 cents for whatever it's worth. Hi, I'm Dustin Curlee. I own a company called Transactions Made Easy, and we do virtual assistance for real estate agents all over Texas. In a nutshell, we take if you've ever heard of the 80-20 rule, we take that 80% off of your plate. We do that for you so that you can focus on the 20% that makes you most successful, which really means that we are doing all of the back end stuff, helping represent you, taking care of the client, staying in touch with title companies, lenders, and so forth. If you're a title company, you'd love working with us because we make your job very easy. We help you out in tandem with the real estate agent. And if you're a lender, we definitely help you as well because we stay in touch with the buyer no matter which side we have, helping them be proactive in getting you the things that you need to close the loan. So been in business about 7 years, been in real estate for 14, but grew up with it with my grandmother for all of my life actually. So I'm very familiar with the industry and I love what I do. So if you ever want to get in touch with me, please let me know.